Conspiracy theories, eh? Wait till you get a load of this. Hello, and welcome to Crack Sisters Conspiracies. We're a podcast that covers conspiracy theories, mysteries, and all over spooky shit. My name is Cassandra.
And I'm Jackie.
And we are said sisters.
It's a fucking train wreck over here.
How is that different than any other day?
That is true. It's not much different.
No, the only difference is the location. We are currently in my house. Someone bringing in the trash cans.
There was some thunder.
Feel the thunder. Sorry. Yeah, so you just introduced my family to your Oculus VR system.
Oculus Meta something too.
Whatever. It seems to be going well. I am curious to try it. I haven't tried it
I was
yet.
just going to leave it here till I come back on Saturday because I don't play it on nights that I work anyway.
How do you think I would fare without glasses? Because the last VR...
You can play it with glasses.
Okay.
Mom did.
Okay.
They have attachments specifically for people who wear glasses. Obviously, that is not equipped with it. Mom played it with glasses and it was okay.
Because years ago, we had one of the first like cheapy, oh my God, you're disgusting, versions of like a VR headset. And I remember playing it without glasses and I got so fucking nauseous and like I had the worst headache. So I don't know if the experience would be the same, but
probably not. Yeah, just try it with glasses and see what it feels like. You can always adjust the tightness and stuff of the headset.
But yeah, watching them struggle bust through it was very interesting as I was making dinner.
Evan did fine. It's just not really, at least the game your child was playing is not set up for a kid that age. So it was
We're trying to develop her life skills. If she can serve drinks to aliens, she can do anything in life.
Well, she can't. Let me tell you that based on what I've seen.
She was not doing too well. So yeah, today's episode, we are going to be talking about something that we kind of touched upon. Well, a relationship we touched upon in a previous episode. And this was a listener request. It was Ashley who had requested it. She's done my hair like once or twice. I really need to actually invest in myself, but she does
my active hairdresser.
She is your stylist.
And moms.
That's true. And so like I said, this was something that she had requested that we touch upon. And like I said, a few episodes back, we had talked about JFK and his special medicine that he had been receiving from Dr. Feelgood. And in that conversation, it was mentioned that many other celebrities at the time were also getting the treatment, meth, from the good doctor. And one of those celebrities was Marilyn Monroe. It was briefly mentioned in that episode that Marilyn Monroe and JFK likely had a bit of a thing. I mean, she was totally balls to the wall, zonked out when she did Happy Birthday, Mr. President. I had to look that up just to watch it.
I've never watched. I've only heard like clips of it.
It was really uncomfortable to watch.
Oh no.
Yeah. So Marilyn Monroe, unfortunately, she passed away when she was only 36 years old. I'm going to be 36 next month. And if I were to die next month, I would be very sad.
Me too.
For a lot of reasons. But this was in 1962. And her official cause of death noted was a barbiturate overdose. So they initially thought that she had overdosed on sleeping pills, and the toxicology report suggested barbiturate overdose. But considering her love affair with meth, the fact that she perished from a fatal overdose is not out of left field.
Okay.
But what if I told you that it was all a ruse and it wasn't actually an accident and maybe it was planned like a murder?
Dun, dun, dun.
To take it a step further, what if I told you that JFK himself might have been involved?
In her murder?
In her murder.
Wow, I think that's a good topic. Tell me more.
Well, the first thing is good thing they're both dead, so don't come for us.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So let's take a dive here.
Yeah.
As we have seen before with other famous people that we have discussed, high-profile celebrity deaths are almost always met with suspicion, and then alternative theories of what happened tend to crop up just because people want to keep the story going for all of these people that are in the tabloids and whatever. That was a really...
The people want the story to keep going for
the people.
Okay.
The same kind of thing happened with Marilyn Monroe. They announced her cause of death, but people immediately jumped on the something else must have happened train because they were refusing to accept the information that was being provided to them.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people suspected there was foul play. So we'll poke into that a little bit and see how you feel at the end of it.
Okay.
At one point, there was enough suspicion and questioning surrounding it about 20 years later. So in the early 1980s, LA County DA's office started to actually look into whether or not they had enough evidence to support launching a criminal investigation into her death, but they did not produce enough supporting evidence to actually take it a step further. And it just kind of withered and died.
Or it's a cover-up.
It could be a cover-up. You never know with all this government intervention here. So the theories that started cropping up were all kind of in the same vein. And each one, there was a link to some government entity or a person. Like, did the FBI cover it up? Was the CIA involved? But the overarching theme amongst the theories essentially involved the Kennedy clan. And it's huge. The clan of the Kennedys is so vast. I actually pulled up the family tree.
Oh,
because I was very curious. And so it started essentially back in 1823 in Ireland with Patrick Kennedy and Bridget Murphy kickstarting the Hump Fest. And I think we're in the 6th or 7th generation. Oh, so JFK was part of the 4th generation of the Kennedys.
all right.
He was born in 1917. And we're actively in the 6th generation, like Katherine Schwarzenegger. She's Maria Shriver and Arnold Schwarzenegger's daughter, who's also married to Chris Pratt. And I think they just recently had a kid together.
Chris Pratt was married to
Anna Faris.
Yeah.
They were married years ago, back when he was on like Parks and Recreation.
When he was fat.
When he was perfect. He had ultimate dad bod and the perfect personality to go with it. And I loved him so much. And then once he started hitting stardom and fame with his Star-Lord in Guardians of the Galaxy, shit started to fall apart between him and his wife. They have one kid together, Jack, who there's a lot of controversy surrounding their relationship because like Jack has special needs. And so they're like, oh my God, you left your wife and kid and now you wanted to start a new life. Shit happens all the time. Like,
who's the one that left his wife that had cancer and has one leg? Paul McCartney.
Paul McCartney. Yeah.
Men are trash.
Men are I mean, people in general are trash, but men tend to be a little more trashy. But I digress. I'm pulling up the family tree from the Kennedys so you can kind of see every color is a different generation. Okay. It's crazy. So it started normal. I mean, they had 6 kids. In the 1800s, I feel like you needed to have like an abundance of kids to take care of each other. Yep. And most of them were probably going to die.
Exactly. Yeah. You have to have a surplus.
Kind of keep that going. And then it goes to the next generation, which didn't have as many kids. 1, 2, 3, 4. But then you get to this generation. This is JFK's generation. He had 8 fucking siblings. So
that's a lot.
His parents, JFK Sr., actually it's JPK, and Rose Elizabeth Fitzgerald just could not keep their hands off of each other and produced this craziness. So JFK and Jackie had their own subset of kids. So there's JFK Jr., Maria Shriver. Again, I know we had talked about her initially. She is full-blooded American. She's just got very strong looking features.
That's what it was.
Jeez Louise. And then she married the Terminator, he's Austrian, right?
Why on earth would I know that?
I don't know. Oh, it keeps going. Jesus. I didn't scroll enough. So this is Katherine Schwarzenegger. And like I said, she's married to Star-Lord. And they're already starting their whole other subset of kids. So there's controversy that surrounds this family.
Okay.
Like I said, the most interesting theories about what happened to Marilyn Monroe, who's what we're talking about today, not the Kennedy
You
clan.
wouldn't know it.
I know. All of the interesting theories revolve around the former president and his family. It should not come as any surprise that there were many rumors floating around at the time about JFK and Marilyn Monroe being involved. There was nothing like officially on record, but it was pretty much very widely known that something had gone on. He was a married man. He had kids, and he was the freaking president of the United States. She was this like blonde bombshell who just oozed sexuality. And the idea that they were canoodling behind closed doors was just something that they probably should have maybe kept buttoned up a little bit.
Yeah.
Or just for, the sake of the United States.
The world.
I don't know. But according to the rumor mill, the two of them had maintained an affair that lasted decades. Whether that's true or not, I don't know that I believe, because she was 36 when she died.
Okay.
Decades implies multiple decades. A decade's 10 years. So at least two to get. So 20 years, she would have been a literal child.
I wouldn't put it past them.
Put it past them, but I feel that's just wrong. So I choose to believe that that wasn't the case. The other reports that I am more inclined to lean towards suggested that they had only met in the beginning of the year that she passed.
Oh, okay.
So like their paths had apparently crossed a time or two prior, but they never really were introduced until this dinner party that happened early on in 1962.
Okay.
And then there was a bit of a side quest that happened, and that was it. But what actually happened, no one really knows. But the theories start to go a little bit left, looping in like the CIA's involvement, being prompted by JFK and his brother, Robert Kennedy, or both. And apparently the two of them had ordered like her death. And the why we'll kind of get into. And it's not because she was a homewrecker or a threat to the president's image or anything, which are two valid reasons to want to like maybe get rid of something. But no, this particular theory suggests it was because she was a communist or a communist.
I think I've heard that actually.
Or sympathizer. And so this whole bit cropped up because she married this man named Arthur Miller. I don't know if you've ever heard that name.
Yeah.
He was a famous playwright at the time. And he had possible links to the Communist Party. So her association with him kind of drove the, she was a commie sympathizer. This was in Cold War time. So like anything of that nature was deeply frowned upon.
Okay.
And so that theory elaborated that and then stating that Kennedy's camp ordered Monroe's death mainly because she knew too many secrets and they just wanted to keep her quiet because she was threatening to expose them. So that was one potential motive for the president's involvement. Whether it was the actual case or not, no one knows. The thought of Marilyn Monroe being a commie bastard did not really catch on. So the view shifted, but the suspicion that the Kennedys were involved still kind of remained intact. It was just a different motive or reason behind it. The main thread between the stories, though, is that there was a brief hookup between JFK and Marilyn Monroe. Initially, they had met up at Bing Crosby's mansion in Palm Springs. They initially met at a dinner. And the story goes, like, she was invited. She showed up fashionably late, as she was wont to do. JFK was there. His wife was there. A whole bunch of people were there. And then she makes this grand entrance. Everything stops. All the attention focuses on her. And JFK apparently made a beeline for her and was like, I am so happy you're here. And then the focus of the party really shifted on her. She was essentially the reason people were there. And it was stated that he was seen telling her, hey, you should come to Palm Springs with me, meet up at Bing Crosby's house. Jackie's not going to be there. So let's see how that goes.
Isn't that the party they're at, though?
No, they were at just a dinner party. And so this is when they initially met. And so he invited her to a separate location, like a month or two later. Like, my wife's not going to be there. Why don't you come see what,
sounds innocent,
what I have to offer? The reports were that they met up. They were there for a brief weekend. They boned it out. And the relationship beyond that is a bit fuzzy. But it was generally believed that there wasn't really too much of an affair beyond that.
Okay.
Like, the question isn't if there was an affair. It was
how long.
The length and intensity of it.
Okay.
So there were reports from like Secret Service agents that were servicing JFK. And so these were comments like after he had died where they can like speak freely. Yeah. And they're like, yeah, it was super obvious that they came there to fucking move on. But in our opinion, that's all it was. She was just another notch in his belt because apparently he had been gallivanting around and she was not
special.
Yeah.
Okay.
So word on the street was that report got back to her that she wasn't what she thought. And that didn't sit well with her. And so the rumors then perpetuated that, kind of lit a fire, and she became obsessed with JFK.
Okay.
And like she wouldn't stop calling him. Like there are logs in the White House showing that there were a couple conversations that took place and that she was regularly calling, which, I mean, why did you give your side piece your phone number in the 60s?
Yeah.
Like,
like the literal presidency number.
Right?
Why not a burner?
I just feel like there was not a lot of thought that went into that.
Not at all.
She became a woman obsessed because I think she was just feeling more scorned than anything.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
In retaliation, instead of dealing with it like a man and being, hey, this isn't what we thought it was, he's like, I'm going to make my brother handle this situation.
That's what he does. Bobby Kennedy, I assume?
Robert, yes.
Yeah, so he seems to like in the last episode, Bobby Kennedy was the one that realized whatever drug he was taking was not legit. So he went and he talked to Dr. Feelgood, and he was the one that kiboshed it, and he did all this stuff. So he's his little side puppet piece.
I'm like, out of curiosity, which one is the older sibling? Because that feels like older sibling energy right there.
So 1915. So Joseph Patrick Kennedy Jr. is the oldest. And then JFK.
JFK was 1970. We're looking for Robert.
He's over there, 1925.
He was his baby brother. Oh my God.
Well, actually, Edward was, but
But like comparatively, it's not like it was an older brother like taking care of shit because.
But he was the vice president, wasn't he?
No.
Oh, I thought maybe he was.
I don't think so. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna have a little history lesson here. Who was VP during?
Lyndon B. Johnson. Oh, okay.
There you go. So no, I think his brother.
He had some sort of position within the White House.
And whether he was just his confidant, his right hand, he was the guy who got shit done and cleaned up all of his messes. He's like, hey, Bobby, can you shut this shit down? We have a stage 5 clinger and she won't leave me alone. You need to make her go away. The American people are counting on you.
Okay.
Is what I imagine that conversation.
Yeah. I mean, probably actually.
But you have to have the JFK accent. No, oh my God. No. So to add just another fun layer of complexity onto this kind of angle for what maybe happened to her, let's take a side quest.
Okay.
So not only was it suspected, I mean, it was likely confirmed that she was having something going on with JFK. What if I told you she was fucking his brother too?
Oh,
apparently that was another.
Which brother?
Robert.
Oh,
hey, brother, don't want you calling no more.
But I'll answer.
Right? And then it makes you wonder who initiated that. Was it him? Was it her?
Or maybe she thought a way to get back at JFK and
was
make him love her with
sleeping with his brother. I mean, that's some twisted logic right there, but I'm sure it has worked in some instances. Yeah. And I would not put it past most people.
Yeah.
But ultimately, she was becoming a pest.
Mm-hmm.
And she apparently was not all there upstairs. She had a history of drug and alcohol abuse, and there was some mental health issues, believe it or not. And she had been struggling with that. And it apparently had become a theme of hers where she was so attention seeking that it wasn't completely out of left field for her to stage attempted suicides just to garner the attention from other people. And so this kind of opened the door for the Kennedys to potentially stage another attempt that maybe went awry. So it's like, oh, she has a demonstrated pattern of mental illness. Yeah. She has tried to off herself a time or two before. And so let's lean into that. And that could have been a way
smart on their end
that they handled the situation. There is not much evidence to support that theory. So it wasn't really given much consideration, but it is an interesting angle.
It is actually, yeah.
So at the end of the day, that's kind of, as far as the Kennedy clan goes, that's their involvement. Like I said, there were possible connections with the CIA and the FBI, but that all would have fallen under the guise of the president and the government saying, hey, take care of this problem that we're dealing with, mainly resulting from the relationship that JFK couldn't manage. And like I said, there was some sprinkle of potential side affairs. apparently they just wanted to make her look like the biggest floozy that had ever existed. Not that she was doing herself any favors.
Also, yeah.
I mean, given her image, that's what she projected. But again, not to suggest that how you present yourself is who you are as a person. I'm a little conflicted on that. I feel bad judging. I don't want to judge.
I don't remember what you said. Was it ruled a suicide originally, her death, the overdose, or was it just ruled an accidental overdose?
It was an accidental suicide. What I'm thinking it happened is she had history of depression.
Mm-hmm.
And so for people who are a little broken in the brain, we tend to I just love that. It's a normal tendency to try to self-medicate with drugs and alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
And to kind of quiet the voices, to quiet all of what's going on upstairs. Mm-hmm. So it's not completely unreasonable to think that she might have just been like, I don't want to deal with this shit. I need a good long sleep.
Gotcha.
And so accidental suicide is a strong way to word it. I think it was an actual accident.
Okay.
Like, I think she was just trying to deal with her shit in the way that she knew and maybe overdid it a little bit.
Okay.
Like, she was grieving for being rejected from one, possibly two of really powerful men in the country. And so she kind of turned to what had aided her in the past and just leaned in a little bit too hard. That's my overall
Do you know where she was found?
She was found in her house. I think it was in Brentwood, but she was naked in her bed, face down. So I'm like, the way that she was found is a little
suspicious,
maybe questionable, but I sleep barely clothed on a good day. But we live in California, so I will never sleep completely naked because I have a fear that we will have an earthquake or something and I need to like run out into the middle of the street.
Speaking of which, did you feel the earthquake we had?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
So I was there. I was present for it. We were at Dave & Buster's for Grayson.
But that's in Northridge.
It is in Northridge, but we were there. Everyone else around me is like, oh my God, do you feel that? I'm like, no, because I was walking around the gift shop and looking around and all of the lights and the speakers were swaying, but I'm like, I don't feel anything.
Oh, interesting.
It was a weird experience. I knew it was happening at that time, but no, I did not feel it.
It was a 5.3, I think, actually. But
it was
they rated it
in
as.
Ojai, right?
Yeah.
That was a weird ass weekend, by the way.
I know. Hurricane or earthquakes.
We had a tornado warning. Yes,
I didn't
there
hear
was.
that.
Hurricane, earthquakes, tornado warning, flash flood warning. My phone would not stop.
I know. I had to turn. So I had my work phone and my personal, and they're both going off at the same time. And I had to turn it off because they were getting really annoying.
And then I'm really glad I wasn't in San Diego because apparently it's tarantula mating season right now. So there's just tarantulas en masse. I don't know if that's... There's a lot of them. I don't know why that came out like that.
Okay.
But I just have these images conjured up of torrential downpours and hurricane winds just blowing spiders all over. Like it was...
I would kill myself.
It was initially the tarantula that was coming, and then it became hurricane, and then like you add in all of the other like the natural disasters that we experienced, and also the fact that it was classified as a potential hurricane.
Yeah, that was
a fucking joke.
Yeah.
There was maybe 2 or 3 miles on our drive between here and the valley where there was a significant amount of rain.
We did get 5 inches, I think.
Down here?
Yeah.
It didn't feel like that. Maybe it was overnight that it rained that much.
But, it did rain for 24 hours straight, so possibly. But, we got a significant amount, but it didn't feel like it if you were out, because I was working when it was happening and it just felt like rain.
It felt like a normal
and there was like a slight
day.
breeze.
There
was no hurricane wind, nothing.
No. And to say that I was disappointed is a little concerning because I don't want death and destruction, but also it was because there was so much hype behind it. I'm like, I know better than to believe literally anything that I see on the internet, but still,
yes,
you kind of want to experience
a little
that.
bit, yeah.
Don't you like trauma bonding with people?
No.
Okay. My child was traumatized because she witnessed her first car accident. Because for those of you who are unaware, we are residents of Southern California. So it is typically blue, sunny skies, 70 and above, 99% of the time.
Mhm.
So when it rains, we turn into Chicken Little.
No one knows how to drive.
The fucking sky is falling.
So many accidents.
Oh my God. People don't know what to do when they're hydroplaning, when they experience any kind of moisture in the air. And so we bore witness to this little, pretty sure it was like a little Mercedes coupe, couple car lengths ahead of us. It was a drizzle at best, but they must have hit a water patch on the freeway. And all of a sudden you just see them cut across 3 lanes, spin out and crash into the divider as they're both running out. Smoke is billowing out of the front of the car. And then Grayson was just like, fuck just happened? Like she's seen the aftermath and wreckage of accidents, but she's never actually seen one happen before. And she was very quiet after that.
Poor girl.
And then we saw a couple other remnants of accidents on the way. And we're driving into the valley. That's to be expected. Like Evan drives that way all the time. And he used to drive to Santa Clarita and back every day. And so when we had those really bad storms, which was worse than the hurricane.
It really was, honestly.
And I swear we had rain for so long.
We did. It was like a whole
us.
Additional month that we had rain.
But he would say on his way to work, it was not uncommon to see multiple accidents a day and not just see the aftermath, like see them happen.
I know.
And he's just like,
that's why I hate working when it rains, because we know there's going to be so many accidents.
Well, and I get nervous just for the people that I know being out in the world when that happens. I am an anxious person, and like, as soon as I meet you, if there's any sort of connection, I'm immediately thinking of all the ways that you're going to die. And these things keep me up at night.
Maybe you should talk to someone.
Right? Like when Dad used to go away and travel, I'm like, he's going to crash on the plane. The first time I boarded a plane by myself to go to Canada, I had watched Final Destination.
Why would you do that?
Because I'm a fucking idiot. It's the same reason I watched Titanic while we were on a cruise ship.
Oh yeah,
I am. I digress.
Anyway,
I don't remember
how we got on there, but so what do you think? You're still sticking with
I'm still sticking with I think that she was just sad and scorned and feeling depressed and just kind of wanted to bury that shit deep inside and didn't take into account how much she was taking as far as like the sleeping pills or drugs or whatever.
Okay.
But I also not completely wanting to discredit that there was some government cover up involved.
I'm gonna say there's something shady.
Just because of like the high profile of all of the other parties.
Yeah.
And it's like there was a lot on the line for them. It was his reputation. The American people would lose all faith. Like this was the 60s. It was still very conservative back then. Nowadays, it's a blip on the radar if someone is having an affair. Like it's awful that shit happens. But that was the 90s. Him and Lewinsky kind of made it a normal thing.
Yeah.
It's still not good. But like I said, I'm not willing to discredit that the government had something to do with it.
Yeah.
So like my gut tells me if we were to like rate it on the crack scale, I would say I don't want to say perfectly plausible and definitely deniable. Like I don't want to go midline on it because in my heart of hearts, I do feel that it was an accident on her part. So I am leaning towards it's certifiably cracked with a little asterisk saying maybe. Just maybe, but not enough of a maybe. What is your impression?
Well, I've done zero research. I only know what you told me. So like I said, I would say either probably I guess one of 3 things. 1, what you said, it was an accident. She just went a little bit too far. 2, she was distraught over the situation and wanted to kill herself and did.
Yeah.
Or 3, the Kennedys did something.
Yeah, I guess I didn't take into consideration the suicide angle for sure. Because maybe she was like deep enough into her depression that she's like, fuck this. Like that's not.
And who knows? Maybe she was seeing Bobby. That kind of lessened the blow of being rejected by JFK. But then maybe Bobby's like, so that I assumed he's married. So this can't go on. So rejected by 2 people. Constantly. that would make someone upset.
Poor Norma Jeane Baker. She deserved better. I also remember how we got to the whole hurricane and all of that, because we were talking about how she was found, where she was found laying in bed naked on her face.
Oh, yes.
Yes. So like I said, always sleep with some article of
agree.
clothing if you need to run out into the street. But I am a face sleeper. The way that she was found is not like,
Okay.
So those are all just the things that I think about. So I think it was self-inflicted, whether intentional or not on her part, but there's always that question mark.
Okay.
Of, did the higher ups do something? So yeah, that is the potential of how Miss Norma Jeane Baker, aka Marilyn Monroe, went out.
Alrighty, I liked it.
Yeah, so that was interesting.
Yeah, I didn't know any of that.
Knew who Marilyn Monroe was. I mean, everyone does.
Mhm.
I knew that there was some connection to JFK.
Yeah, that was about the
But
extent
beyond that,
of my knowledge.
I did not know much.
Yeah.
So it was interesting. So thank you, Ashley. It was something for us to look into a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
So what episode is this going to be?
This is episode 20.
It's 20. Oh my
I
goodness.
believe so, yeah.
Okay. Wow. So I know one of the things that we have been talking about is milestone episodes.
22, I'm sorry.
22. Oh my goodness. I had to look it up.
Yes.
We are inching towards our 25th episode.
Mhm.
So I think we might have to do something, a little side quest of our own, and do
I have
something
something
special for that.
planned. Yes.
So I hope y'all will stick around with us for a couple more episodes. But in advance of that, what are you thinking we should talk about next episode?
So it's between two. One would be Jimmy Hoffa,
Oh, okay.
and then the other would be TV show. Sorry, Conspiracies, cartoons,
Double click on
or
that for me. Okay. Sorry. There's a story behind that. Continue.
so like an example would be like the Rugrats. People think the Rugrats, all the babies are dead, and Angelica has like schizophrenia,
Oh
and
my
she has
God.
imagined all of the other characters. So there's a lot of weird something of very popular TV shows. A lot of them are kid shows, but like how there's something dark and sinister about
I mean, right off the bat, I'm kind of intrigued by that because
Okay,
what
we'll
the
do that
fuck?
one. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, we'll do that.
Oh, with that in mind, like I said, this is at least the second listener requested episode that we've had. So we do take feedback and we consider it and we weave it in where it is appropriate. So we highly encourage it to keep coming. There are various ways that you can get a hold of us. You can email us. That would be kind of fun because we've never
I would
received
love an email. Like just one email. That's not spam.
We have Facebook and Twitter. Those are not great platforms to get in front of us on because they just exist because they have to exist. Instagram is our primary form of communication and conversation right now. So that's how we get a lot of our viewer feedback. We do have a Patreon. Not that any of you, except for our freaking parents and Alex, are supporting us there. I don't know. I feel like we are just sunshine and roses. And we
Yeah.
are worthy of at least $1 a month.
I agree.
$12 a year.
Please pay us or she'll stop yelling at me.
Right? Like it's very aggressive. I didn't mean to get on that. And then by the time this is airing, we will hopefully have a TikTok page.
Yeah. We have YouTube. I don't know what TikTok is, so that's you.
Yes. You did recently put all of our content, the audio at least.
Video you have to pay for.
Yes. The privilege of seeing us is worth it. Give us a
Agreed.
fucking dollar, man. But for those of you that are curious and leaned into the TikTok train in the COVID days like I did, and it has this vice grip on your life, but we will
Be stronger. Just kidding.
No, we want to encourage
Oh yeah. Never mind.
followers and viewership. So we will give you morsels here and there of the video excerpts and little
Sounds fun.
bits and pieces of what we're like. And then maybe that will encourage you to seek us out elsewhere. Anything else to add beyond that?
Nope.
Okay. Well, with that, stay cracked, y'all.
And have a great day.